Ascent Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Leading the Life You Want, Skills for Integrating Work and Life by Stewart D. Friedman. Narrated by Tom Pyle.
Not I, nor anyone else can travel that road for you. You must travel it by yourself. It is not far. It is within reach. Walt Whitman. This land was made for you and me. Woody Guthrie. Introduction. Beyond balance. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Viktor Frankl. Out of control. That's how Sam, a divorced father of 2 girls and an ambitious professional, described his life. By day, he managed an IT group for a healthcare conglomerate while dreaming of starting his own company. I feel like I can never get it all done, Sam continued. I'm constantly distracted. I wish I could be under less stress and pay more attention to my daughters, especially as they're getting into their teen years, and to my mom, who's just been diagnosed with early-stage cancer. Sam looked down at his desk and shifted in his chair. He was in his home office. I could only see a part of it on the computer screen. We were video conferencing. His sense of being overwhelmed extended to his professional life. I'm struggling to find the right partners who can help me develop and market an app I've designed that can make it easier for people to track their personal health habits, he said, leaning forward. I really believe that this thing can make a difference in people's lives. It's a full life, but at that moment, Sam felt not so much full as stretched thin. He continued, When I'm at work, I'm worrying about Sophie and Aaron. And when I have them on the weekends, I'm online, taking care of loose ends at work or trying to connect with leads for funding my startup. I just don't have enough time for it all. Yet I have this gnawing sense that I should be doing more with my life. Sam's plight is not unique to busy managers. I often hear these sentiments from adults young and old, whether they're executives, students, doctors, retailers, artisans, research scientists, soldiers, stay-at-home parents, teachers, or engineers, and whether they live in the United States or elsewhere. These are the chaotic early days of the Twitch era, in which we often feel as though we're drowning in a deluge of data, and yet can't stop picking up our smartphones, checking our social media accounts, flailing in the wash of emails. Few of us are skilled enough psychologically to exploit the power of new communication tools, and it's increasingly difficult to maintain the boundaries that allow us to give our projects the attention they require and our people the care they deserve. What's more, social expectations for men and women are changing. Traditional norms are rapidly fading, leaving many people confused or disappointed, or both, about gender roles. Anne-Marie Slaughter's inquiring Atlantic article of June 2012, Why Women Still Can't Have It All, sparked a fervent national conversation. It was stoked later that year with the decision by Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer to revoke the work-at-home option for the tech company's employees. The fire was fanned by the book campaign of Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg, whose catchphrase and book title, Lean In, urges women not to step back from challenging careers. Women and men are hungry for help in figuring out how to navigate the turbulent modern-day waters of meaningful work, domestic responsibility, community engagement, and a satisfying inner life. No one seems to have the answers. At the same time, economic pressures are forcing individuals, families, organizations, and communities to do more with less, or just to do less. Indeed, as I wrote last year in Baby Bust, New Choices for Men and Women in Work and Family, a study that compares the Wharton School's class of 1992 and the class of 2012, many young people are forsaking the opportunity to have or adopt children because they don't see how they can manage it. We remain in difficult financial times in which large swaths of our economy have been disrupted, leaving millions displaced from their lines of work with diminished prospects for economic stability. Many of us may dream of achieving something significant in our life's work, something we can feel proud of, and yet find ourselves struggling to do so without shortchanging the people who count on us. Perhaps you, like others, feel fragmented or discouraged. Perhaps you're looking for more purpose. You might have inklings about what to change, but you fear failure, or you fret about being selfish, or you can't stop the scramble to make ends meet, or you just don't know where to start. The problem with work-life balance. For nearly 30 years, my life's work has been to help people like you find ways to bring the often warring aspects of life into greater harmony. Toward that end, my research has focused on a fundamental misconception we all have about the costs of success. Many people believe that to achieve great things we must make brutal sacrifices, that to succeed in work we must focus single-mindedly at the expense of self, family, and society. Even those who reject the idea of a zero-sum game fall prey to a kind of binary thinking revealed by the term we use to describe the ideal lifestyle, work-life balance. Work-life balance is a misguided metaphor for grasping the relationship between work and the rest of life. The image of the scale forces you to think in terms of trade-offs instead of the possibilities for harmony. And the idea that work competes with life ignores the more nuanced reality of our humanity. It ignores the fact that life is actually the intersection and interaction of the four domains of life: work or school, home or family, community or society, and the private realm of mind, body, and spirit. Of course, you can't have it all. Complete success in all the corners of your life all at the same time. No one can. But even though it can seem impossible to bring these four domains into greater alignment, it doesn't have to be impossible. Conflict and stress aren't inevitable. Harmony is possible. From years of studying people in many different settings, I've found that the most successful are those who can harness the passions and powers of the various parts of their lives, bringing them together to achieve what I call four-way wins, actions that result in life's being better in all four domains. Successful people make it their business to be conscious of what and who matter most. Their actions flow from their values. They strive to do what they can to make things better for the people who depend on them and on whom they depend in all the different parts of their lives. Integrating work and the rest of life. Indeed, a set of discrete skills can help you find ways to integrate these four domains. You can learn these skills, and with practice you can master them. You can achieve a kind of integration that will, in turn, help you have the impact you want to have and lead a life in which you stay true to yourself, serve others, and grow as a person. This integration is the key to leading a meaningful life, the one you want. To replace conflict with a sense of completeness or integrity doesn't require turning your whole world upside down. Instead, it requires figuring out how to take incremental steps that are under your control and that move you in the direction you want to go, while bringing others along with you. Doing this means thinking and talking about what truly inspires you, whatever in the world that might be, creating new products that improve the quality of life, teaching old folks how to dance, being recognized by your peers for your accomplishments, showing children how to read, having a reputation as a trustworthy person, solving problems or puzzles, being part of a team that takes pride in its achievements, reading about new ideas or old characters, growing vegetables, designing video games, coaching hockey, or talking about movies with your mother. In pursuing your passions, whether vocational or avocational, you can extract the special something that is unique about you and convert it into something that helps make others' lives a little better. It's not only thrilling to discover a way to do what you love and to love what you do, but it usually results in your having better market value, too. It's not easy, especially if you're facing obstacles that loom large, and there's almost always disappointment and failure along the way. But it's a creative and rewarding process. I like to think of this creative process in musical terms. Imagine that you're a musician in a jazz quartet. You're trying to make good music. Your goal is to produce sounds that take your listener on a soul-touching journey. You have a theme, a direction you've chosen for each piece, around which the players improvise. Things happen along the way you haven't planned or that you can't control, so you must listen and continually adjust your playing. Sometimes only the saxophone plays. At other times it's the piano and the bass, or the drums and the saxophone, or only the drums. You're trying to bring them together, rhythm and melody, over a period of time to produce something uniquely beautiful and valuable. In your case, the period of time is your entire life. When you start, or maybe even a long time after you start, your band fails to gel. The parts don't sync, the instruments clash, and individuals fail to meld into a whole. But you work with what you have, combining disciplined structure, practice, increasing competence, concentrated effort, dedicated commitment, and trial and error. You refine your skill so that you can produce the sound you hear inside your head, the melodies that stir your soul. Each instrument has its limits. Each has a specific contribution to make to the whole. For a jazz quartet to produce great music, discipline is as important as improvisation and serendipity. It's not magic, even if the result is often magical. Foundations. This audiobook describes, illustrates, and teaches the specific skills you need to pursue four-way wins. Why these skills? Why not others? It's because the skills presented in this audiobook are the ones that have proven to be the most effective in my 3 decades of teaching, research, and practice helping individuals at all levels, in different stages of life, and across various spheres, integrate work and the rest of life. In the 1980s, I began asking the question, what does it take to bring together the different parts of life in mutually enriching ways? We launched the Work-Life Integration Project at the Wharton School, and in collaboration with leading scholars, practitioners, and policymakers, I initiated surveys and interviews, action research, and case studies in a wide variety of settings to find the answers. In a series of books and articles, I've shared the results of my studies and tried to make these ideas available to the wider public. In 1998, with Jessica DeGroot and Perry Christensen, I edited a collection of learning activities written for educators to teach what we were starting to discover about the skills for integrating work and the rest of life. It was called Integrating Work and Life, the Wharton Resource Guide. My book, Work and Family, Allies or Enemies, was written in 2000 with Jeffrey Greenhouse and based on large-scale survey research. It offered new ideas for actions that individuals could take to produce greater harmony among the different parts of life. With Sheldon Lobel in 2005, I wrote an article, The Happy Workaholic, a role model for employees, that described the practical lessons we uncovered in field research on senior executives who lead flexible and engaging work environments and the skills they use to do so. And in Baby Bust, mentioned earlier, using 20-year longitudinal data comparing 2 generations of Wharton students, I explored the values and aspirations of millennials, those born between 1980 and 2000, and the skills they need to reshape our culture, our organizations, our communities, and our families. Being real, being whole, being innovative. The most important part of the foundation for the skills in this audiobook is Total Leadership, a program I developed at Ford Motor Company that later evolved into a course at Wharton. Total Leadership is a set of principles for achieving 4-way wins and a sequence of exercises that flow from the principles. The idea of the Total Leadership program is to enhance your capacity to be a leader in all parts of life and for you to transform yourself from feeling unfocused, fragmented, and stagnant to feeling inspired, connected with others, and excited about the future. It starts with 3 principles: be real, be whole, and be innovative. To be real is to act with authenticity by clarifying what's important to you. It's about exploring your answer to this basic question: what matters most to me in my life? To be whole is to act with integrity by recognizing how the different parts of your life affect each other. This involves identifying who matters most to you at work, at home, and in the community, and understanding what you need from each other, and seeing whether and how these needs mesh or don't mesh. All this examination allows you to be innovative. You act with creativity by experimenting with how things get done in ways that are good for you and for the people around you. You learn how to take small steps aimed at scoring 4-way wins: improved performance at work, at home, in the community, and for your private self, mind, body, and spirit. Since 2001, thousands of people have taken the program, at Wharton or elsewhere, at in-person workshops as well as online, including a customized social learning site built especially for this course, as well as in a massive open online course, a MOOC, on Coursera.org, where over 54,000 students are enrolled as of this writing. In 2008, my book, Total Leadership, Be a Better Leader, Have a Richer Life, attempted to put this program on the page. Tens of thousands of readers in numerous languages, including Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Portuguese, and Russian, have used the book to help them lead more fulfilling lives. I often hear from former students and other Total Leadership alumni that they are sharing the ideas and exercises with their colleagues, family members, and friends. I came to see that this approach is equally effective for people who may or may not be MBA candidates and who may or not aspire to run companies, governments, or public service organizations. This approach can also help anyone who is feeling frazzled by the often competing demands of work and the other parts of life. It can help people who have found success in their professional lives but feel a nagging sense that they've failed to develop their spiritual selves. This approach, because it is entirely customized by each person who tries it, can help the many women and men who are disappointed that having it all is much harder than they thought when they were younger. as well as those just starting out who seem to have already concluded that they'll have to settle for success in only one part of their lives. My research has shown that there are ways for everyone, from the managers of sales teams to executives in government agencies, to computer engineers, to florists, to coaches, to achieve professional success without always having to sacrifice the things that matter in their personal lives. Indeed, we found that the opposite is true. Sustainable professional success results from meaningful investments in the rest of life. Skills for integrating work and the rest of life. The Total Leadership book and the Wharton course that shares its name presents a structured program, step-by-step instruction, a process for setting goals and tracking progress, a series of exercises to complete in stages to help you successfully pursue four-way wins. In contrast, this audiobook drills down into specific skills for being real, being whole, and being innovative that you can learn and practice at any time. You can dip in and out of the process, focusing only on the skills you need most at any one time or in any specific situation. It's not necessary for you to have read or done any of the exercises in Total Leadership, but it's available now in audio and paperback if you're interested. You can start to produce greater harmony between work and the rest of your life with this audiobook, assessing yourself on the skills and building them through specific exercises. You can learn and practice the skills either singly or in small bunches or all together. The first step is to do a self-assessment in the next section to determine which skills most need your attention. Then you can choose to strengthen those that are weakest or build on those you've already mastered. As you read the description of each skill, think about how it plays out in your life. Which ones are your strengths and which ones are weaknesses? If I were to ask people who know you well, what would they say about whether each skill is true of you? And how might things be different if you practiced each of these skills in your everyday life? As you review these skills, don't score yourself yet. You might wonder whether they're easy for me to describe, but difficult for you to develop. Let me ask you to take a leap of faith. Don't worry too much about that right now. Instead, try to approach them with curiosity and an open mind. Skills for being real. The first of the 3 total leadership principles is to be real, to act with authenticity by clarifying what's important to you. This is the foundation, your values and your vision of the future you want to create. Know what matters. You know how important each of the different aspects of your life is to you. Your high self-awareness enables you to understand and clearly describe the value of each of the roles you play: worker, spouse, parent, sibling, son or daughter, friend, or citizen. You're also able to see the bigger picture, in which all your different roles in life contribute to your vision of the future. Embody values consistently. You're able to be yourself wherever you are, wherever you go. You act in ways that are consistent with your core values. You've taken the time to get comfortable in your own skin. This confidence allows you to be yourself wherever you are. Rather than conform to external pressures, you rely on your internal compass to guide your words and deeds. Rather than bend to social pressures, you make choices that match your values, and you're not afraid to share your opinions. Align actions with values. You make choices about how to spend your time and energy in ways that match what you really care about. This skill allows you to think about your goals so that you have a clear understanding of them, making it easier for you to prioritize. You understand how what you do each day fits with your values, so you're able to persevere when things get rough. You also know when and how to say no. You don't let feelings of guilt force you to take on things that are not true to what you stand for. Convey values with stories. You tell stories about the key people and events that have shaped your values in a way that binds you to others. You can pinpoint episodes in your life that have shaped your values. You allow others to gain insight into the person you are and where you've been by sharing your stories. You display both confidence and vulnerability by opening yourself up. This lays the foundation for building relationships based on mutual appreciation and trust. Envision your legacy. You have a vision for where you are headed and the legacy you want to leave. You know not only where you've been, but also where you're going. You can paint a vivid picture of the life you want to lead, visualizing yourself in 10 and even 20 years. Not only do you have a vision of the future, but you also have ideas that excite you about how to achieve that vision, even if you don't have all the details figured out. Hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself accountable for doing what is most important to you in your life. You don't let weeks or months pass by without reflecting on what matters. You routinely evaluate whether you are living according to your values. If you notice that you're doing things that are not important to you, you adjust your actions so that they line up better with your values. At the very least, you're willing to try to take steps to ensure that you're pursuing a life that matches what matters most. Skills for being whole. The second total leadership principle is to be whole, to act with integrity. The Latin root is integer, which means whole or complete. By respecting all the different parts that constitute the whole person, ensuring that you and the people who inhabit these realms are clear about what you need from each other and are willing to provide it. Clarify expectations. You communicate with people important to you about expectations you have of each other, and you make sure these expectations are clear. You are willing to express your needs, values, and goals to those that you care about. You are willing to set aside time for these conversations and are able to broach topics that may feel uncomfortable at first. You're an active listener who's also willing to hear constructive feedback, ask clarifying questions, and work to resolve disagreements. Help others. You look for opportunities to help many different people. You are generous and caring in key relationships in your life. Whether these relationships are with colleagues, neighbors, friends, or family, you see that it's fun and fruitful to help other people. You view relationships as a means for enriching your own life and the lives of others. Build supportive networks. You are able to convince people to support you in your goals. You're able to tap into your own personal and professional networks for support of what's important. With your enthusiasm and passion, and your reputation for going out of your way to connect people, you convince others to support you. You don't need to manipulate others to gain their support. It's offered freely because others share your vision of the future and want to help you realize it. Apply all your resources. You use skills and contacts from different parts of your life to help meet any need or goal. When pursuing your goals, you are able to think creatively about the resources you've developed in the various domains of your life. You don't force your relationships into rigidly defined categories or roles. Instead, you draw on assets, other people, your own talents, what you've learned, from different parts of your life to get things done.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?